Well, let's take a step back, because one of the other things I want to do with this conversation is equip people with information if they are curious about this. So, I mean, one of the other things I looked up was there's different types of procedures, the most popular being follicular unit extraction, FUE, and follicular unit transplantation, FUT. Number one, what is the procedure that you got? And could you just briefly describe how it works, and describing to ultimately the healing process, including how you're going to look when you get back. This is something I'm really not familiar with, and I want to be able to help people out with that information.
So I originally got FUT, which is the second most modern transplant service. FUE.
That's the other one.
Is I believe is the newest one. Simply put, they will inject liquid underneath the space between your scalp and your skin.
I'm looking up because I'm trying to visualize all this. So go ahead. Describe it to me.
If you're looking at the video here, they inject it. That allows them to then extract the root of the hair that is back on the back of your head.
I see.
They then leave it in a chemical for about an hour. This magical chemical that seems to make this hair last forever. They then numb your entire head, or numb the area of transplant, and they will make little tiny holes all over your head, and they will put those fibers into those holes. And the other thing is that those holes are not closed. So the next 3 days, it's imperative that you don't touch your head. Which is actually my advice to a lot of people, is understanding that the procedure itself is like any medical procedure. You're gonna be a bit sore during and a little bit afterwards. But a hair transplant is like getting a scab the size of your head on your head and being told you cannot touch it, otherwise you are literally wiping money away.
Because you're wiping away the follicle from the new roots.
Correct.
Okay, so we're talking about like, it's as itchy as any other scab?
Yes.
So you have to fight that urge?
Yes. And also, you have a banging headache for 5 days.
The headache comes from?
From your head being wounded, essentially.
So it's a surface headache.
Correct.
Not like a deep tension headache, but still.
Oh, no.
Unpleasant.
It's like a migraine at points. God. It really gets bad. Waking up and having a consistent migraine for an entire day. I think the second day was the worst day for me.
How long is the procedure itself?
It ranges between 9 to 12 hours.
And are you awake the whole time? Or
yes.
What are you doing?
Well, that really depends on the provider of the service.
What does that mean?
So the guy that I got it done in the UK,
yes,
didn't have quite the fanciest of setups. Probably suggested why it was so cheap. I had to listen to audiobooks for the entire 12 hours.
Like his audiobook? Like you guys are listening to together? What's going on here?
I think I was listening to Alien. On audiobook form. And I'm not a big fan of audiobooks.
Yeah.
I can tell you that the best way I can describe it is that 12 hours is like Cold War torture. Because
that you signed up for.
I signed up for it. I agreed to it. But that 12 hours is tough. You are bored out of your head.
And you have to sit up?
You are
reclined? What's the deal here?
Originally, you start on your front, where they take out the back. You're then moved to lying on your back.
I see.
Where they have access to just do it straight into your head. And the ones that I had seen that were good, they had like televisions at eye level on the roof. Mine sadly did not have that.
All right.
And I also wondered, because I was asking a few people and they were saying, some places have that because their doctors get distracted and end up watching it. And I thought, okay, maybe an audiobook is actually better.
Yeah.
So after that procedure, you are in a lot of pain. But the reason why I say Cold War torture is because your head is numbed. So you don't feel the procedure per se. But you hear it. And when I hear it, it's like pyrostone being sort of ripped. It's a very high pitched noise of your skin being opened. and then putting the hairs in. And that's over, for me, that will be another 2,500 times. So it's like a very high pitch. And what that does in your brain, it almost translates to feeling.
Yeah.
So you can't move. You can't do anything. You're bored out of your head and you're hearing this very soft but very high pitch. Almost, yeah, like high-pitched tone of your skin being opened over and over and over again. Eventually, the anesthesia,
Anesthesia?
No, the to numb your skin. What's?
There's Novocaine for your mouth.
No, not quite for your mouth. It's just to numb the local area of your skin.
Yeah, local anesthesia.
There we go. That eventually wears off, and the pain starts to
during the procedure.
During the procedure, and you just have to tell them to give you a top up.
Oh, I see.
And then things are okay. But you're going between torture, boredom, and pain.
Yeah. So
or 12 hours.
Okay. Number one, I'm thoroughly grossed out by this.
Oh yes.
I didn't know it was that thoroughly feeling things and hearing things and sensing things and also being left to your thoughts and trying to listen to an audiobook and balancing all these different things and understanding that this will get better 6 months or so from now, right? It's all an investment to looking better up here in the future. Back then, when you did it the first time, you were 23 and, you didn't want to be losing hair at such a young age. Now, you're 28 and you are not single. You're in a very loving relationship. Very loving. Is the motivation different now that you are closer to 30? Now that you are kind of off the market, as it were, to have to be attractive? What is the motivation this time around, knowing what you're going to walk into? It's
funny that you said this. Me and my partner had this conversation last night. You should say, "Are you doing this for me?"
I see.
Well, not so much. Am I doing this for her? Am I pressuring her into doing it?
She doesn't care. Is what is her point?
I think that's a lie, though. I think there is a level of care.
You want your gonna release this episode pretty soon, so.
You want your partner to look good. And for me, this is an area in which there's two areas. I'd like to be physically fit. I'm not expecting to be like Ant from jacked to shit, but as long as I'm healthy,
sure,
that's good for me.
Yep.
And number two is the general look. I've got on the bandwagon now of moisturizing, making my skin, try and save my skin for as long as possible.
Okay.
And wanting to do that for her because I think that's only fair that you want to look good for your partner. You want your partner to always see you attractive.
Sure.